Hi there, and my name is Nicole Earlbeck, owner of Restoration Fitness, and I have two amazing ladies in my life that have significant pain due to arthritis in their body, and it's significantly impacting their spine and specifically their knees. Those two ladies, I'm going to give them a shout out right now, are my mom and my aunt. Love you, Aunt Linda. Love you the most, Mama Shirley. And I wanted to offer this video, since I'm doing it for them, to all of you who might benefit from having some general idea of exercises that can help open up the body, stretch things out, keep things loosened in those areas that get tight from chronic pain, and specifically stretches that will help you get more mobility in your spine and more mobility to maintain the mobility in your knees. Then we're going to move on to some gentle strengthening exercises. As with any exercise program, if any of this causes you pain, please stop and see somebody who can give you more personalized attention with these exercises. Many of these things you can do at home with either a towel or a band. It's sometimes nice to have a chair around specifically that we can sit on and use. If you have a hard time getting up and down off the floor, you might want to have a bed nearby that you could get onto to do a few of these things so that you can lay down, because we will be doing some things where we need to be on the floor. So let's get started. Our first thing we're going to do is start doing some gentle stretching. So we're going to begin with one foot forward, the other foot back. We're going to stand right next to a wall. So the leg that's closest to the wall is going to be forward, opposite leg back. And in this position, our primary goal is to try to force these hips to tuck under. So we're getting a bend in both our knees, and if you need to, shorten up your stance. But the idea is to really tuck our hips, and then we're going to take our arm and reach it overhead. So for those of you who may have more limited shoulder motion, turning this arm and reaching across is fine as well. But the higher we can reach, the more we're going to get this stretch into the hip flexor, which is what I'm hoping for all of you. So we're going to hold that about 5 to 10 seconds, and then we'll just turn ourselves right around and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to tuck the hips under, soft bend in the back knee, really tucking the hips under, arm high, and we're going to reach up and over, trying to get this arm over towards the wall. But again, if you need to rotate, you can. Maintaining this big tuck of the pelvis, we're going to keep reaching for the wall. Okay, we're going to do that one more time each side. So one foot forward, the other foot back, tuck the hips under, soft bend in the back leg, my back heel is up off the floor, and I'm going to reach overhead, trying to still put a lot of energy into feeling that tuck of the pelvis as we reach up. Come on out of that, and we're going to go same thing other side. So hold the wall for balance, get the widest stance you can, but stay within your range, tuck and reach. Awesome. All right, our next exercise we're going to need a chair for. So we're going to have something like this available. If you have a folding chair or maybe a kitchen chair, those are all awesome, especially if you have something you can kind of grab onto with both sides. We're going to hold on to the edge of that chair and put one foot up onto the chair. From there, we're going to reach down to the chair and try to stretch towards the floor. If you can take your hands off and literally reach down to the ground, that's probably going to give you the best stretch. Again, assuming there's no discomfort or pain here. We will feel this lengthening through the back and spine and a little bit into the adductor muscles and a little hamstring in the leg. So we're just forward folding here, relaxing the body into the stretch. When you come up, we just go ahead and turn the other side of the chair, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we hang on, put the foot on the chair, reach for the ground, and if you can, if you're still stable enough, you're going to reach your hands for the floor. So remember, I'm making this video for people who are experiencing a lot of arthritis, and my lovely ladies are in their 70s. So I'm believing that these things are possible for you, even if you're in that generation or older. So feet wide, we're going to take our body and we're just going to do another side bend stretch from here. So again, with as much motion as you have, keeping the tummy pulled in, we're going to keep both our sit bones on the chair. If you want to brace yourself here on the thigh, you can. And then up and over for the other side. And one more time each side. Again, just trying to pull core in and lengthen through that whole side of your body. Last one on this side. And then from there, we're going to actually try to do some shoulder stretching. So when we get really caved in here, it can sometimes bother the upper back, which can transfer to the lower back, but it's also great for our neck and our upper spine to be able to use something. So I have a band like this. You can do a long towel if you have a bath towel you could hold on to, or a yoga strap. If you don't have any of those, even just sitting and making this motion is really great for the shoulder. Again, as long as there's no pain. So what we're gonna do is hold a strap or a band in your hands, pull it apart, and we're gonna stretch the arms back behind the head. When you're stretching, we wanna, again, keep the tummy strong. We're gonna pull the shoulder blades back and down, keeping the arms like as stiff as you can, right? So we don't wanna have a lot of bend here. We wanna be reaching long. All right, our next one after our next reach, so again, really lengthening through, keeping that chin tucked into your throat, squeezing shoulder blades together. We're going to put the band down to the side, and you're just gonna sit in your chair and pull your knee up to your chest, and then we're gonna cross the leg over the thigh. So the goal is to use the upper body to really pull this leg in as tight as you can. We're gonna do a similar stretch here on the floor after a bit, but I found this stretch to be a really easy way to give you some glute stretching without putting a lot of pressure on the knee. So this is one thing. The other way we can do this is just literally to rest the leg on the opposite thigh, and then we're gonna either apply pressure here with the hands, gentle pressure, or if you feel like you can manage it, forward folding and just letting the chest come down like we're rounding to the ground. And for those of you who want to, you could even take those hands and reach them for the floor. And then we're gonna switch sides. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna tug that knee up into the chest, grab onto the foot and cross it over, and then giving yourself the biggest hug with that leg as you can muster. Will depend a lot on your knee mobility and a little bit on your hip mobility too. Still wanna sit nice and tall, just trying to get this leg to hug in. All right, from there we're gonna let the leg fall, keeping it crossed over. So I have pretty good flexibility here. For those who are maybe still up here, that's okay. Just go with whatever motion you have, putting the hands on the thighs. Again, applying pressure, or if you want to get a deeper stretch and you can handle it, we're gonna forward fold, reaching those hands for the floor. Just sitting here, feeling that nice big stretch in the butt. And what happens here is a lot of times when we get tightness in the hips is we get nerve impingement, sometimes in those glutes in a muscle called the piriformis. So it's always a good idea to stretch these rotators just to keep as much mobility as we can in our hips. All right, this next one we're gonna be going down to the floor. So if you need to, take a pause and go over to your bed or whatever you need to get to be able to stretch your legs out. So we're going to have the legs nice and wide once we get seated. So I'm in my nice big V sit here. When we are sitting here, we're gonna influence spinal mobility by just getting a gentle reach from right leg to left. Okay, so I'm just side bending from side to side. And as you sit here and work with this, you might find, oh, I can get a little farther the more I do this. And that's the goal, is as your body loosens up and warms up, we're just gently reaching a little bit more from side to side. And again, it doesn't matter where your legs end up, whether they're more narrow than mine or even wider. The goal is to just get this gentle reaching side to side. All right, so our next one, I said we were going to be doing one more stretch similar to the one I just taught you on the floor. And so for this one, we're going to lay on our back, and the goal is to just literally grab onto the shin and pull the thigh into your chest. So this has two purposes. The first is we want to get some knee flexion. So as we age, it gets harder and harder to have full range of motion of our joints. And the knee is one of those that tends to have trouble continuing to stay flexed. So you might feel this stretching kind of through the top of your knee and your kneecap. Again, as long as there's no pain, keep pulling that leg in nice and tight. For others of you, you may feel this more in your inner thigh and your glute, and that's all great too. One thing to increase the stretch here is to literally push this back leg or the bottom leg down into the floor. So I'm using muscles to actively try to press the back of this knee into the ground as I'm holding this leg nice and tight to the chest. Next one, we'll just switch to the other side. So same thing, we're going to give our leg a nice big tug, trying to hold as low on the shin as you can, kind of grabbing onto that mid-shin, holding tight, and then we're going to actively press the opposite leg into the floor. So we're separating the hips out, we're giving our knee a good amount of flexion here, feeling into this full stretch. All right, so from there, we're gonna do a rotational stretch. So we're gonna tuck the knees in. So I have them tucked into my side, and we're gonna let them fall to the side. So you may not be able to get your knees to stay together. That's okay. Just go to wherever you can feel your knees drop. Then we're gonna take this top hand and we're gonna reach it back. And so your goal is to reach long onto the floor, rotating your shoulders and trying to open up the whole chest wall here, so that we can feel the upper rib cage rotating and stretching, The lower back getting a little stretch here, especially as you keep trying to press this top knee down into the ground and really lengthening this arm out and back. So again, some of you may not be able to get to the floor. That's okay. Just try to find a position where it feels like a good stretch. We don't want to get into pain here. So same thing, other side, we're going to tuck those knees up and in. I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to literally reach it back. So now you can kind of see me from the other angle, pulling my knees across and trying to open this arm back the other way. So I'm getting a big old spinal twist. Again, if this is painful, back off. You can always do this just with the arm kind of holding on here and pulling the elbow back. And you don't always have to do this. One thing you could do if you don't like having your legs all the way down is put a pillow underneath those legs just to hold them up a little bit. But in general, that's a great way to stretch the spine. All right. Our next exercise is going to be up on the hands and knees. So if you're on the floor, you might want to grab a little pillow for underneath the knees. We're going to be coming up into a position where we're on our hands with the shoulders above the hands and the hips directly over the knees. If your wrists don't like this, you can always go to this position where your fists are pushing into the ground. We won't be here long. So in this position, we're going to practice our breathing while we move the spine. We're going to take a nice breath in through the nose, relaxing the tummy. And then we're going to exhale and try to flex the tummy in and around the spine. Inhale, relax the back. Exhale, tuck the chin and round the spine, pull the core in. Inhale, relax. Arch the back, pull your shoulder blades together, lift the tailbone. Exhale, tuck chin to chest. Rounding the spine, pulling core in, really feeling the stretch to the back and ribs. Inhale again. Exhale all the way out, really using your tummy muscles to feel all the air go out of your body and to pull that tummy in to feel that whole belly wrap up into your core. One more time, inhale. And exhale, squeeze the tummy in, flex the spine. All right. From here, we're going into a bridge. So we're going to lay on your back and we're going to put both feet on the ground. So I'm going to end up with my feet about hip width apart, just like so, laying all the way flat on my back. My feet are going to stay grounded. My hands are down at my sides and I'm going to push my rear end up towards the sky. Okay, so we want to make sure that as we lift, we're not just lifting for the sake of lifting. We're actually pulling that pelvis under, tucking the tailbone and trying to push the pubic bone as high as we can in this tuck and back down. So you don't have to go super high to really feel your body having to work hard in the hamstrings and the butt to make that happen. And you'll notice I'm holding that top position for a few seconds to really feel that deep squeeze and then lower. We want to try to create some good tension in this muscle to feel it holding and getting stamina to squeeze and support the body. So we shouldn't be feeling this a lot in the back. You want to mostly feel your butt and your hamstrings contracting. If you're feeling your back, just don't come so high. Stop a little short and then try to see if you can clench your butt. And back down. We're still going to go 4 more. So push through your heels in the ground. Your feet can be flat, but make sure we're getting contact with the heels. Back down. Squeeze through again. Tummy's pulling in. We're pulling that pubic bone up and through. The tailbone's tucking under. And down 2 more. Lower core can tighten and then really try to clench those glutes. And down, and then 1 more time, really tucking through. And down. Good. Okay, so now we're going to lay on your side. So for those of you who maybe are a little bit more advanced and you want a little bit harder exercises, you could put a little looped band around your knees, like a little mini band, both in the last exercise and this next exercise. So in the next exercise, it feels kind of good to have a little pillow. I'm going to use my trusty little ball here underneath the head. And then laying on your side, we're going to pull the lower core in. So we're going to do that little bit of a tailbone tuck again. We're going to squeeze the tummy to feel ourselves being braced and supported. We're going to squeeze the pelvic floor, and we're going to open the top knee and come back down. So we're basically holding that bracing feeling in the body while we externally rotate and open up this top knee. So this is called a clam because we're kind of opening up like a clamshell in our legs. And same thing here, we're just keeping the feet together and feeling that nice big squeeze of the glute. You don't want to have your pelvis move a lot here. We want to have the pelvis pretty still, and we're just feeling that knee squeeze because of what we're doing with the glutes to lift it. We're going to go 3 more here. So you'll find in my videos I don't do the best job of equal counting. So if you're doing this on your own, you want to get about 12 to 15 repetitions of all of these strengthening exercises. So we'll go 1 more. And then we're just going to flip to the other side. So you can literally turn over if you want to. I'm going to actually switch sides so you can still see each other. And I'm going to be on my back, knees tucked forward slightly, heels together, pull the lower core in, tighten the pelvic floor, and we're going to open the knee and put it back down, moving from the actual hip joint, right? We want to make sure we're not rolling the whole body forward or back. The hip joint and socket is what's rolling to open this knee. So we're going to go out 4 more here again. So again, lower core is on, pelvic floor is tight. I'm getting through a big range of motion by squeezing the muscles in my butt. And you might even feel a little bit of hamstring and inner thigh having to stabilize here. 2, we'll go 1 more. Great job. Okay, next one, we are going to do a hip extension. So when I say hip extension, what we're doing is we're trying to get this leg to go straight, but it needs to press behind you, okay? So right now I have this ball back here, but what I'm literally trying to do is press my foot into the ball. You may not have a ball, and I don't necessarily want you to have a ball, but I want you to get a sense of like, I am pressing back behind my body slightly, and then I'm tucking my knee into my chest. So this is a great exercise also for the glutes, but it's a muscle up here called your glute medius that I really want to try to get. That helps your pelvis stay level when you walk, which helps your knee and helps your low back. So we're going right back behind you. We're going to go 4 more. 1, 2, 3. And just remember, on your own, you're going to be getting 12 to 15 reps of this. And then we're going to flip back over to the other side again. Same thing, other direction. And so we're going to tuck both knees slightly. This knee's going to now lift into your chest, and we're going to drive it back. Okay, so my pelvis though, so I can even put my hand right here on my pelvis, doesn't get to move. This is only my thigh and my lower leg tucking and pressing behind me. So we've got to have some core strength here to hold the rest of our body still while this butt is getting a chance to get stronger. 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. The next exercise we're going to be doing is for your core. You're going to lay on your back, and we're going to bring one knee up, and I want you to press your hand into the knee. So we're not doing a lot of work with this bottom leg. Just try to keep this bottom leg relaxed. The upper back is trying to stay relaxed, and we're just creating almost like a pull for your knee to push into with this arm. So now I'm going to brace my core, and I'm going to push my knee right into my hand, holding it nice and strong and stiff. We're going to hold that for about 15 to 20 seconds. So again, I'm really using this resistance of my hand and knee to activate the core. And then we'll switch sides. So we're also working a little bit of the hip flexor. So again, bracing especially the lower core here. You can kind of take your fingers and say, oh, is my tummy turned on? Yes. Holding it strong here as I push the knee into the hand. And now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go across the body. So I've got my left hand pushing into my right knee. I'm going to apply that pressure. So I'm driving my knee into my hand. My arm is resisting because I've got it nice and long and strong. And I'm just putting as much pressure as my body can tolerate, feeling my tummy strong. My pelvic floor is on, and I'm resisting by really trying to tighten all of what I have for muscles right into the middle of my body, hugging my body with my muscles as I resist this knee to hand pressure. Okay, switching sides. So left knee to right hand. Applying that pressure again, feeling that lower core turn on. Keep your lower leg relaxed. We're going to keep the lower tummy on, wrap the tummy muscles in, pelvic floor tight. We're just focusing on trying to maintain this tension all in the core. Good, holding another 5 seconds here. All right, come on down. So this one's different. It looks similar, but it's very different. So now we're going to take both our hands, we're going to wrap them around the bottom of your knee, and we're going to use our knee to push into our hand. So we're going to push out. So keep your upper back and your shoulders strong, and we're just going to try to push out. So this is actually a good exercise for your glutes, and it helps to reset that SI joint a little bit to reduce SI joint pain. We're going to hold each of these about 5 seconds. I'm just holding, pressing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Push out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. 3 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. 1 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. So basically we're going to do that 6 to 8 times each leg. So here we go on this side. So again, we're still holding the core in strong. We're not arching the back. We're just pushing with our hip muscles to press the knee out like you're trying to kick the knee away from you. Your upper back and shoulders are just holding strong. And relax. Push out. And relax. Push out. And relax. Push out. And relax. 2 more. Push out. And relax. Last time, getting as much pressure into those hands as you can. And relax. Great. Okay, so now we're going to either tuck both knees up, or you can keep one foot down depending on the strength of your core. What the goal is here is to literally feel like you've got like a jewel or a ruby deep within your body, and you're trying to squeeze into that ruby as tight as you can with all the muscles of your body. As you hold that tension, you're going to try to keep everything stiff in your torso, and then you're going to reach your leg out and in. Okay? If you're doing this and you're like, oh, this isn't too hard, then you can always go ahead and lift the opposite leg and let it be off the floor as well. It's much harder. But for those of you who are like, oh, it's hard enough, just keep one foot on the ground. The goal is to not let the spine move. We want to really keep that spine stiff, and we don't want to pouch the belly up. We want to feel this tension happening because we're squeezing in, not pressing back, right? The back is staying pretty flat, but that's because we've squeezed in. We're going to go 2 more on this leg. And then we'll switch sides. So I'll show you this other side with the foot up, but just remember, if you need to, put your foot down. So we're going to exhale and reach the leg out. Reach out. So we're just hugging. You can see me holding on, kind of putting my fingertips towards my lower belly to feel that muscle continue to stay contracted as tight as they'll stay. Trying to maintain this sense of a flat tummy as the leg goes out and in. 3 more on this side. 2. Last one. Good job. So this is our last one here on the floor. We have 3 left that are going to be standing exercises. So go ahead and stand. I would love to see, for those of you who have a band, for you to be able to go ahead and use that. If you don't have a band, highly recommend getting one, but you can also always use just as an isometric. Again, wrap your towel around a banister or something, and you'll just be holding your resistance with a static hold. So you'll be pulling, once you get that towel to end position right here, you're just going to hold resistance, pulling the towel like you're trying to rip it. For those of you who have a band, we're going to be doing a row. Okay, so I'm putting you in a split stance. If you feel better with your feet parallel, that's fine. But I actually find people that feel a little bit stronger when they have their feet separated. So you're going to pull your shoulders down away from your ears, brace your core so we're not arching the back, and we're trying to pull these arms back and around nice and slowly, getting motion in the wing of your back, your scapula. So our shoulders are squeezing back and forward, back and forward. My head is stacked really well. Ears over my shoulders, chin is tucked in. And we're just continuing to feel this squeeze of the muscles in your back. It should feel like you're getting some good blood flow back there. Nothing painful. Think about the tips of your shoulder blades trying to wrap around your ribs and touch behind you. So we're going to go 3 more here. 2 and 1. Okay, for this next one, if you have a dumbbell, great. Otherwise, just grab a soup can. That'll suffice. And we're going to be standing on one foot. So for those of you who don't have good balance, one way you can really challenge your balance is just literally to put your feet like you're walking on a tightrope. So one foot directly in front of the other. And then we're going to just curl with one side of your body. Bicep curl. Okay. So if you have a band, you could use a band in this one arm. Just put, the band underneath one foot. Or grab a soup can, a heavy soup can, or a jar of spaghetti sauce, something like that, and curl it with this side. For those of you who have more advanced balance, see if you can't just stand on that one leg. And so using just one arm weight makes it a lot harder to stay balanced. So you might find that even putting a little toe down is helpful, just barely touching it to the floor. We'll go 2 more here. So with this one, we could get up to 12 to 15 repetitions. And switch sides. So we're working on a strong core. If you need to, put one foot in front of the other. Otherwise, we're going to hold this leg up overhead. And you can hold your arm out to the side if it helps you with your balance. Also helps with balance to keep your eyes focused in one spot. I am not wearing shoes, but a supportive shoe that has a good arch can help. Otherwise, we need to really grip the floor with the heel and the toes, especially your big toe. So we're going to go with 7 more. Feeling the tummy strong, this back leg really tight in the butt. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Last one for exercise for strengthening. We're going to do a wall tricep press out. So the point of this is to kind of keep your upper body strong. Okay, we want to get a feeling that we can maintain the strength of our upper body so that we can push ourselves out of chairs or get out of tall vehicles or whatever we are trying to do in our life. And so we're going to tuck these arms into the wall. So if you could see me, my hands are just like this in front of my shoulders. And we want to be just a slight lean away from the wall. We're going to tuck those elbows onto the wall, and then we're going to press the arms away. When you press away, as long as you have good mobility in your wrists, try to get your wrists really, or your elbows really stiff. So we're going to tuck and press. Tuck and press. This is a little bit different than a push-up because we're coming down with the elbows onto the wall. And you'll really feel this starting to work the back of your arm. If you're getting a little bit too much tension in your elbows, you can always put your hands a little higher, which makes it a little easier. But if you want it harder, stay in that lower position. So my knuckles are basically right in front of my eyes. So we're going to go 4 more. 2, so again, about 12 to 15 repetitions on these. 3 and 4. Good. Okay, last few stretches. Standing here, we're going to go into a calf stretch. So we're going to put pressure into the wall and we're going to try to drive our heel straight back. So in this position, my knee is straight, my heel is pushing down, and then I'm going to try to get my body tall. Pushing the hips down and forward towards the wall. All right, switching sides. Same thing, we're going to push that heel straight back, stay tall, and we're going to bring the hips forward to try to stretch into the back of this calf, but you might also be feeling it even in the front of the thigh. All right, from here, we're going to go back to our chair and have a seat, and we're going to end here with a couple more glute stretches and hip stretches. Okay, so seated nice and tall. Again, we're going to pull this knee, and all we're going to do this time is just try to give it a hug into the chest. So kind of similar to what we did on the floor, but now we're doing this seated. And next one, we're going to put the feet wide. You're going to take your hands, put them on the floor on the inside of your feet. If you have the range of motion for it, you're going to take your hands and bring them underneath your calves. Tuck the chin to the chest, and we're just trying to forward fold here. So we're opening up the facets of the back. All of the spaces where the nerves come out of the spine is opening up at this point. It's called foramen. And we're trying to just get some good mobility in the muscles and the fascia of the lower back. So tucking chin to chest, that's going to extend that stretch up into the upper back. And apply some traction to the neck. So it's helping us get a little bit mobility into the upper spine as well. Slowly coming back up, we're going to put the hands on the knees, come back up. We're going to do one more hip opener that also is going to stretch your spine some. So we're going to take one hand, put it on your foot or shin, wherever you can get to, and now we're just going to try to stack the shoulders. So this is going to give you a nice good stretch through the side body here and the hip of the, and so inner thigh and hamstring of this bottom leg. A little bit of groin. And other side, so chest is tall, stacking those shoulders, seeing if we can't get as much spinal twist as you can, but really the other point of this is trying to get this knee to push out with this elbow to feel that nice stretching through your inner thigh there. Last stretch, we're going to sit on the edge of our seat. You're going to put one foot forward, and I want you to try to reach down for that heel. So the gravity pushing my knee down into the floor is going to help give me some extension in the knee, but it also is going to be stretching a little bit into the hamstring and calf here. And same thing other side. I'll just kind of show you from this direction. Sitting on the edge of my chair, just make sure it's nice and stable so you're not going to tip off. We're going to put heel into the ground. I am trying to keep my chest out a little bit here, so that's one thing that will really influence this, is maintaining that nice straight spine as I'm reaching down for the foot. Still trying to get that knee, so if you can, I would say even put a little bit of pressure into this thigh to press that knee so that it's fully extending. And that's all, my friends. Hope to see you next time. Enjoy these exercises. I'd love to hear how they're working for you.